I mean, it's not that hard to get your beat. Unless I die, people will still hate me.
They said it was entertainment. They called it a spectacle. But when the bell rang, none of that mattered anymore. Jake Paul stepped into the heavyweight ring with Anthony Joshua, knowing exactly what was at stake, and maybe not fully understanding the cost. Across from him stood a two-time world champion, an Olympic gold medalist, a man whose entire career was forged by real consequences. Joshua didn't rush it. He waited. In the sixth round, he backed Paul into the corner and landed a clean right hand. Precise, controlled, and devastating. Paul dropped hard. The referee stopped it instantly. No debate, no excuses. And then came the aftermath. A shattered jaw, broken in two places. Titanium plates, teeth removed. A wired mouth and weeks of recovery. The images spread faster than the highlights, turning shock into silence. That's when the conversation changed. Was this courage, or was it something closer to recklessness? Was this boxing's evolution or a warning sign? Because hype can sell tickets. But inside that ring, gravity always wins. And that night, it collected its price.
How are you able to sit down when your nuts are the size of basketballs? Like, how are you actually able to sit there?
Thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to get your ass beat.
I don't think it was that bad until that last
actually,
couple.
I won 2 rounds
For sure.
and then he won 2, and then I got dropped.
The reaction online was instant chaos. Timelines flooded. Comment sections turned vicious. Tens of thousands of fans tore into what they had just watched. One side mocked Paul relentlessly, calling him a runner, saying he circled, evaded, and fought like he was trying to wrestle in a boxing ring. Some didn't even hide their satisfaction, celebrating the knockout in brutally graphic terms. Others weren't convinced it was real at all. They pointed to the slow, awkward early rounds, the lack of urgency, the late explosion. Accusations followed fast, claims that it was staged, timed, rigged for views. As one viral comment put it, not for boxing purity, but for spectacle. And that reaction didn't come out of nowhere. This wasn't just another celebrity fight. It pulled more than 33 million global viewers on Netflix, ranked #1 in dozens of countries, and dragged millions of people into the same question at once. Could a YouTuber actually survive a real heavyweight? Some tuned in to see history. Others tuned in to see a reality check. What they got was both. And once it ended, the fight didn't stop. It just moved online, where belief, skepticism, and outrage collided just as violently as the punch that ended it.
But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really fucking talk. It's like a baseball in there.
two plates?
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just 1.
I was on the ground. I was like, that was a good shot. He surprised my jaw. But yeah, I mean, I told everyone, though, that I would do better than Francis, and that Francis kind of got no chin.
So
Francis Loki soft.
the resounding Twitter sentiment that just doesn't matter at all, but all the haters last night, their storyline was that you were moving around a lot, which I just
Boxing?
don't. I know, I just don't get it. Like, what do they expect you to do? So Joshua is gonna walk you down every time.
Bro, unless I die, people will still hate me.
It is so true.
Among boxing purists, there was very little sympathy, just blunt honesty. Jake Paul looked physically outmatched. He came in around 216 pounds. Anthony Joshua outweighed him by nearly 30 pounds, with a longer reach, heavier hands, and years of elite experience. Before the fight, analysts had already called it dangerous. Some even used the word catastrophic when talking about Paul's safety. After the knockout, those warnings stopped sounding dramatic and started sounding accurate. Then the sports veteran spoke up. Former heavyweight champion David Haye called the matchup reckless, saying Paul was risking far more than a loss on his record. Amir Khan went further, arguing that moments like this could permanently sour fans on the influencer boxing era altogether. But the most controversial take came from outside the ring. Joe Rogan publicly suggested Paul should consider walking away, not later, but now. His warning was blunt. Repeated trauma like this doesn't just end careers, it can follow fighters for life, leading to long-term neurological damage and mental health struggles. That comment split the audience instantly. Some called it overreaction. Others called it the first honest conversation this sport has avoided. Because once the lights go out and the clips stop trending, the damage doesn't disappear. And that night forced to question boxing doesn't like asking. Asterisk, how much punishment is too much, and who is responsible when spectacle turns into something darker? Asterisk. What surprised many people wasn't the knockout, it was what came after. Away from the noise, Anthony Joshua reportedly walked up to Jake Paul's mother and apologized. Not for winning, but for the damage. He reminded her that this is boxing, that once the bell rings, respect still matters. In a sport that had been mocked and torn apart online for weeks, that moment of restraint felt almost out of place. And then there was Paul himself. From a hospital bed, with his jaw wired and face rebuilt with metal, Jake Paul didn't disappear. He spoke openly about the surgery, the pain, the stiffness that doesn't fade when the cameras turn off. On his brother Logan Paul's podcast, he admitted recovery would be long, but quitting isn't part of the plan. He's already talking about returning, dropping to cruiserweight, even floating the idea of chasing a world title someday. In the same breath, he talks about slowing down, supporting his fiancée, joking about baby fever, and then casually throws out names like Canelo Alvarez, half serious, half defiant. That contradiction is what keeps people divided. Some see resilience, others see denial, because the fight may be over, but the argument isn't. And as long as Paul keeps stepping back toward the ring, the same question hangs in the air. Where does ambition end? And where does the damage begin?
There's two pools of people in this fight. One pool is, holy shit, mad respect to Jake Paul, what a fighter, absolute warrior. The other is fucking ran around the whole fight, shot takedowns, blah blah blah. Like, bro,
Strategy is one that I've seen Floyd use constantly. Move around the ring, find your proper counter punches, and throw shots when it makes sense for you.
It was just mental.
Really,
It was just like him imposing his will on me and being massive and the big shots landing. And then, yeah, it pretty much all goes downhill from there. But I wish I had more than 3 weeks, I think, to prepare, to maybe have like put on some more muscle to be able to like sit there, hit him. And then I should have gone to altitude to train. That was my biggest mistake.
Public reaction split instantly, and it split hard. One side showed no mercy. The nicknames came fast: Glassjaw, Runner, Embarrassing. Memes flooded timelines, mocking his movement, freezing frames of his knockout, turning a broken face into punchlines. For them, the result confirmed everything they already believed. But the other side pushed back. They pointed out something uncomfortable. Jake Paul stood in the ring with one of the hardest punchers in heavyweight boxing and didn't fold immediately. He took real punishment. He survived 6 full rounds against an elite world champion. And whether it looked awkward or not, that wasn't chaos, it was survival. Some fans even reframed it as survival boxing. Movement, distance, avoidance, minimizing damage. A style that doesn't look heroic, but has kept fighters like Floyd Mayweather unbeaten for decades. The problem is that logic clashes with what people expect from an influencer fight. They didn't want survival. They wanted spectacle. And then the debate went deeper. Was this ever meant to be pure sport? Or was it entertainment wearing boxing gloves? Critics argue the fight was engineered for attention first, competition second, a reflection of how modern boxing markets crossover events for reach, not legacy. Supporters counter with one brutal metric: money. Reports suggest Paul walked away with close to $90 million. In that framing, the broken jaw becomes collateral, not failure. proof that in today's fight game, losing the match doesn't mean losing the night. So the argument keeps circling. Was this humiliation or strategy? Was this boxing's decline or its evolution? Because when fame, money, and violence collide, the outcome depends entirely on where you're standing and how much damage you think is too much to justify the payoff.
Do you feel good about your camp?
I felt good about it, yeah. But I mean, I just needed to have that extra level of cardio for this. And that only can come from going to altitude.
I think the camp wasn't 100%.
Like, do you feel like it was your best camp?
No, I mean, just because like I was weighing like 200 pounds when we confirmed the fight, and then I had to gain more weight. But I mean, yeah, man, it's a great experience overall to be in there with someone who's that good.
So what's the real takeaway from all this chaos? Jake Paul's loss to Anthony Joshua wasn't just a knockout. It was a cultural fault line. It exposed the split inside modern boxing. Purists who demand tradition, casual fans who chase spectacle, and online audiences who feed on drama no matter the cost. Some say he ran. Some say he got humiliated. Others argue he proved durability by lasting longer than anyone expected. That disagreement is the point. No one ignored this fight. No one shrugged it off. And no one agrees on what it actually meant. As Jake Paul recovers, talks about breaks, future camps, and returning to the ring he claims to love, the world isn't just watching a boxer anymore. They're watching a symbol, a figure living where hype collides with consequence, where entertainment meets real damage. And whether people want to admit it or not, that intersection is where boxing's future is being argued, punch by punch, post by post, long after the bell has stopped ringing.
I learned a lot, and I see where I could have done better. So I'm a little disappointed, but I also know how good he is. But I had him wobbled at one point.
When you were sticking your tongue out him, I was like, don't make him mad, dude. Like,
I was just trying to have fun.
No,
you know?
yeah.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Well,
and I did have fun. Like, I love this sport, and I love this job. It doesn't even feel like a job. It's just fucking awesome. I just had a blast in there. Win, lose, or draw. This sport has done so much for me, and I just am happy and grateful, and just all the life memories that are created through these fight weeks and everything that we've done is just super awesome. And I'm going to be able to look back at my life and just be really happy one day. Yeah. I'm very happy with MVP and all the fights on the undercard. It was just an amazing show. Our partnership with Netflix. So there's so much good that came from this.
Are you going to keep boxing?
Yeah.
You really love this shit, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to take some time off
To do
go
what?
support Utah at the Olympics.
So sick.
Then she's going to move to Puerto Rico, move her here. Maybe go snowboarding or something.
Maybe get Esme some cousins.
Yeah, that part.
I
Honestly, I'm
concur.
ready, bro. I have such baby fever.
Yeah.
Like I want kids so bad.
No,
Guys,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love
Jake Paul got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. His jaw was broken in 2 places. Titanium plates inserted. Teeth removed. A brutal ending by any standard. And yet, he's already talking about coming back. Fans exploded online. They called him a runner. Said he circled avoided exchanges, ran the whole fight. For many, it was confirmation of everything they wanted to believe. But strip away the noise, and the reality gets uncomfortable. Paul survived 6 rounds against a world-class heavyweight. He absorbed real shots. He stayed upright longer than almost anyone expected. Some even point to moments where Joshua looked briefly unsettled. Not domination, but resistance. And in that context, survival itself became the headline. Paul hasn't hidden behind excuses, but he hasn't ignored the flaws either. A rushed camp. Just 3 weeks to prepare. Sick for 10 days. No altitude work. He's framing it all as fuel, not failure. Now he's talking adjustments. Smarter training. Better conditioning. Possibly dropping to cruiserweight. Even floating the idea of chasing major fights and world titles. He jokes about the injuries, leans into the pain, and lets the criticism burn around him. That's why the reaction stays split. Some see denial, others see resolve. Love him or hate him, Jake Paul refuses to disappear quietly. And as long as he keeps stepping back toward the ring, the controversy stays alive, sharper, louder, and harder to ignore. If you live for boxing drama, real fight analysis, and the stories that continue long after the bell, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for Fighters Arena Pro. The fight world never sleeps, and neither do we.